What is Jin really hiding from BTS? Who is the mysterious figure who accompanied him to celebrate the success of his solo album that topped Asia's #1? Why aren't any of the BTS members here? Is this a sign of a split? Or the love that had been hidden had finally come to the surface? Jin caught celebrating the success of the new album with a mysterious figure in Jeju? Armies shake your head. Not a BTS member, but what will you feel when you know that someone you admire has achieved a brilliant achievement, but chooses to celebrate it not with the closest family, not with comrades in arms, but with someone you have never even seen before? And even more surprising, all this was done secretly, away from the camera's glare, until finally the camera caught it. Jeju, a place known for its tranquility, became a silent witness to a celebration that many fans did not expect. But why hide? Why not with other BTS members? What is the real meaning of all this? Jin, the worldwide handsome who has just come out of his military service, shocked the world with his debut solo album that immediately shot to the top of the Asian charts. The album, which contains haru tones, low, and full of meaning, looks like a hidden love letter that Jin wants to convey to someone. But who? That's what has never been answered. The army was both proud and curious. But everything changes drastically when a photo they never imagined was spread. Jin was caught on camera sitting in an exclusive restaurant in Jeju, wearing a dark hat and black hoodie, talking intimately with an unknown female figure, not Jimin, not Taehyung, not Jungkook, RM, or Suga and J-Hope. Not a single BTS member was seen celebrating Jin's success at the time. Not even the big hit staff were visible. Did Jin deliberately stay away? Or is this the kind of celebration he's been planning for a long time? Not as an idol, but as an ordinary guy in love. What made everything feel even more shaking was Jin's facial expression. A face that used to hide a lot behind a friendly smile now shows a calmness that is rarely seen. As if that night was the moment he was really looking forward to. The question now is, since when did Jin stay away from BTS members? Is there a conflict behind the scenes that the public does not know about? Or is it just a matter of time and personal priorities? Korean media began to spread the theory that the mysterious woman who was with Jin that night was his old lover who had been closely guarded his identity. Some suspect that the woman is a music producer who helped her finish the album. But even more striking is the fact that Jin did not celebrate this achievement with the team that has been with him since the beginning of his career. It's not once or twice that fans have seen BTS celebrate a victory together, with hugs, tears, and laughter captured vividly in each of their documentaries. But that night, all was lost. It was as if Jin was already in a different world. A world that no longer involves BTS. Does this mean that Jin wants to get out of BTS's shadow? Is he building his new identity as a soloist completely and starting to move away from old ties? Or is this just a mere exaggerated misunderstanding due to one blurred photo on a dark night? Many soldiers are heartbroken. It's not because Jin has a personal life, because they know that BTS members are also ordinary people who deserve to be happy. But because they feel betrayed by a moment that should have been celebrated together. BTS is family, they always believed. But that night, in Jeju, there was only Jin and someone unknown. Some emotional comments began to flood social media. Where are the other members? Why weren't they the first to celebrate? This is not the Genie we know. Has he forgotten who has always been there for him in the first place? Those injury-filled sentences spread like wildfire in the summer. Some tried to calm down, saying that maybe the Genie just wanted to celebrate quietly. But others couldn't accept the fact that Jin seemed too comfortable, too peaceful, with someone who wasn't part of BTS. And when one fan site with strong connections in the industry started leaking that the woman had been living in Jeju for the past month and was spotted several times in the same location as Jin, the speculation took off into a storm. Who the hell is he? Why did the Jin choose him over those who magnified his name? Meanwhile, HYBE chose to remain silent. There is no official statement. There is no clarification. Only silence makes these rumors even wilder. Does this mean that there is really something to hide? But one of the most surprising things is the content of one of Jin's songs on her album called Island in My Heart, a song that feels like a secret letter sent to someone special. The lyrics imply about a hidden place that only two people understand, about wanting to escape the ever-demanding world, and about keeping a name in silence, but loving it in the light of the heart. Was this song written for her? Is this the main reason why Jin chose Jeju as the location of the celebration? Not a few relate this clue as a very personal message from the genie to her lover. And if so, why did he choose moments like this to finally perform together? Does he deliberately want the world to know that he is now choosing a new path? Or is he sending a signal to the other members that he is no longer BTS's Jin, but the real Jin? If it is true that the genie already has a lover and celebrates her success with that person, then the biggest question is, since when has everything changed? Is this the reason Jin has looked more reserved in recent interviews? Was this the reason why there was no truly deep interaction between Jin and the other members after he completed his military service? And the most disturbing question, are we witnessing the beginning of an emotional breakup between Jin and BTS? Surprise after surprise continues to shake fans. And now, it's not just the album that's in the spotlight. It's Jin as a human being, Jin as a lover, Jin as an individual who may be fighting for love in the spotlight of the world. Is this a selfish decision? Or is it just evidence that Jin is now living the most honest life for himself? The army was divided. There are those who support Haru with tears, saying that Jin has the right to be happy and live his life like an ordinary person. But others were disappointed, feeling that a moment of this magnitude should belong to BTS together. Not only belongs to Jin and one mysterious figure who is now the center of all question marks, and perhaps this is the most painful fact of all, that sometimes even the person we are most proud of can choose a path we never imagined. A few hours after photos of Jin's celebration with the mysterious figure went viral on social media, the mood of BTS's fandom changed dramatically. Not only because of the sense of surprise that has not subsided, but because silence of the other members. No congratulations were posted on social media. There is no Insta story. There is no like. There was not even a repost of the official release about the success of Jin's album, which was ranked #1 in all of Asia, and in BTS's already very solid world, where they've always cheered each other on even the smallest of things. The absence of this sign is like a slap in the face. As if they didn't want to acknowledge the moment, whispered a fan on the community forum. Or they also feel abandoned? Some army began to browse the latest uploads of the members. Jungkook, who is usually the first to praise Hyung's achievements, only posted an old video of his vocal training in the studio, with a short caption, "Back to what matters." Is this satire? Is this Jungkook's way of conveying his disappointment? Fans immediately flooded the comments with questions and wishes. Jungkook, are you disappointed in Jin? What's really going on between you guys? Even more disturbing is Jimin's post. In a story upload that only lasted a few hours, Jimin wrote a short sentence in Korean that immediately made fans' hearts jealous. There is something more painful than silence, betrayal wrapped in a smile. Those words left netizens shaken. Is that a message for Jin? Did Jimin feel betrayed by the person he had always considered his own brother? Meanwhile, Taehyung chooses not to say anything. But as usual, his silent expressions spoke louder. He posted a picture of himself in a quiet place, staring at the sea, with the caption, "Sometimes the island is not a place, but a person." A sentence that either contains satire or memories army, can't be sure. But clearly, the upload time was only 2 hours apart from the circulation of Jin's photo in Jeju. And Jeju itself is known as an island. Coincidence? Not for the army. Because in the world of BTS, nothing really happens. Hidden words from RM leaders who no longer hide their disappointment. Namjoon, the leader, has always been known as the calm in the storm. But this time, it wasn't quiet. In a brief live broadcast conducted unannounced, RM spoke in a heavier tone than usual. "Everyone can choose their own path," he said with a bitter smile. "But don't expect everyone to keep walking with you if you choose to turn alone." The remark, which seemed very neutral on the surface, actually triggered an even louder rumble in the hearts of fans. Because so far, RM is known to be very diplomatic. If he speaks in that way, It means that there is something deeper, more complicated, more painful than what is seen on the screen. He even closed the broadcast with an unusual phrase. Maybe we're all learning that success can be the loneliest thing in the world. And if it's not a message for the genie, then who is? Did Jin realize his reaction hurt so many people? Until this article is continued, Jin has not given any statement. He didn't even respond. That night, 3 days after a photo of Jin with a mysterious figure in Jeju spread like wildfire in the middle of a dry forest, a sudden meeting took place in a studio located on the outskirts of Seoul. The location is far from the hubbub of the city, and few people know that the place used to be used by BTS for secret rehearsals before its debut. But that night, the room that used to be filled with laughter and excitement turned into a quiet place. Only the sound of torrential rain pouring down the tin roof and the heavy breathing of people harboring too much anger, disappointment, and sadness. Jin sat alone in one corner of the room. No camera. No staff. No HYBE manager. Just him, and 4 sounds of footsteps that were getting closer and closer. Jungkook, Jimin, Taehyung, and Namjoon. They didn't come to sing. They come carrying something heavier. Unanswered questions and wounds that haven't healed. Jungkook was the first to speak. His voice trembled, but his eyes stared at Jin without blinking. Why are you celebrating alone, Hyung? Jin didn't answer right away. He sighed and only said quietly, because it's my day, not ours. The sentence was like a blow to the chest. Jimin stood not far from the corner of the wall, looking down, biting his lips. But then he approached. Since when are we separated so you and US? It sounded almost like a whisper, but the tension in it cannot be hidden. Namjoon remained silent. But from his clenched fists and glassy eyes, everyone knew he was holding back a lot. He closed his eyes for a moment before finally saying, I always say, whatever path you choose, we will support. But we're not strangers, Jin. We are not spectators. We're brothers. Then why are you making us feel like outsiders? Finally, Taehyung spoke up. Usually, Taehyung is the most emotional. But this time, he sounded so calm, so cold. If you're in love, at least tell us that you chose him, not us. And that's where the first tears fell. Not from Jin, but from Jungkook, who turned his face and banged his head against the wall softly while whispering, I'm so proud of your album. But that night, I was waiting for you to send me a message. Emoji is enough. But you didn't say anything. Even when we were all gathered in that studio that night, waiting for you to come, added Jimin, in a voice that almost broke. Jin finally said, I don't want to burden you anymore. But is that really the real reason? After all the words were uttered and silence enveloped the room, Jin finally raised his voice. But what comes out of his mouth is not a defense. Not a clarification. But something that made all the hearts in the room tremble. I'm scared. Just 2 words. But it's full of meaning. Jin lowered his head, took a deep breath, then continued in a hoarse voice. I'm afraid if I celebrate with you guys, I'll look selfish. I know the album was a success, but you know behind it, I lost a lot. I lost time, lost confidence, lost spirit. And I feel like if I come to you with this victory, you'll feel proud of me when you're not together on stage anymore. I'm afraid you feel like I'm forgetting you, when the truth is, I miss you so much I don't know what to do. Taehyung is down. Jungkook was silent. Jimin closed his eyes, and Namjoon pulled out a chair and sat down slowly. And that girl? Jungkook asked suddenly, slowly but sharply. Is he the reason you changed? Jin didn't answer for a moment. But this time he didn't shy away. He's not the reason I changed. He only comes when I'm empty. That answer didn't give clarity, but it was enough to make everyone understand. The Jin are facing a war greater than anything, a war with themselves. Did I ask this the beginning of BTS? Or is it precisely the beginning of a deeper healing? The meeting that night was not recorded. But reportedly, after everything was over, they didn't leave right away. They sit together, in silence, in tears, in meaningful silence. And the next day, the official BTS account posted a picture. Old BTS photo on the roof of the HYBE building with a simple caption, still the same, although not always together. The army watched him cry, and in Jin's personal story in Weverse that night, he wrote, "Thank you for reminding me who I am, not as a soloist, but